Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Corsace Open 2023 in the Knockout 1 stage. This is a very exciting part of the tournament where so many teams, both from runoff and from round robin dominance, clashing together in this single elimination bracket. And we've got an incredible matchup here between All-G8 Bros, the Chinese core team, and GODFIELD Gaming, the Japanese core team. This is a super exciting matchup, and I cannot wait to see how this turns out. I'm Sad Shiva, and for the first time in a while, I am joined by the fantastic Doomsday. Hello, sir.
Hello. Chat's awfully British right now. But yeah, it is essentially China OWC versus essentially Japan OWC. And everything points towards this one being one of the matchups of the weekend, Shiba. Like, it's so close on almost every regard. The seeding from qualifiers are really close. I think old G8 Rose got seed 8, which put them straight through to here. This is their first matchup, I believe, in Corsace this year.
Yes. Yeah. So the seedings here is seed 8 for All-G8 Bros, so they just barely slipped in and managed to qualify themselves into that top 8, not having to go through the runoff. And GODFIELD Gaming got seed 13, so not as close as teams like KFC, Zingerbox, and Starbound, but still a relatively close squad. And these guys did very, very well in their runoff bracket, getting number 1 in their group and securing themselves a very easy spot on to the next stage. So yeah, I can't wait for this, Doomsday. Both of these teams are so good, and they've got some really iconic players here as well. I think all G8 Bros kind of have their classic lineup here: the 3 Lolos, Crystal, Joseph Joestar, and normally in the Chinese OWC groups you'd have Jack Wang Witwin, but for this team we've got My Angel Anzu, who is the just to quickly double check, a speed player mostly for this, so still kind of keeping that similar role with Joseph Joestar, but also kind of being a hidden filler here, hidden player for the final finishing off the core for this team. And on the side of GODFIELD Gaming, I mean, these guys, lots of these players have been known, but one player I'm super excited to see perform in particular in Varvalion.
Yeah, Varv has been around forever. He's Mr. Reliable. You can't really go wrong with him, and he's been solid so far in Corsace. One of their core players, playing pretty much everything right through the round robin. Varvalion, alongside with Pop Art Town Teachy, playing everything. Always been the backbone for these Japanese heavy teams. You see, and on the subject of that as well, a couple others there. Rollpan as well, ever present here. Outerlean as well as becoming ever present over the last couple years. So a lot of old blood in this Japanese GODFIELD Gaming side. But I'm really curious about some of these newer players. Rikumiya I believe, has been a player that's been quite well known in like lower ranked tourneys for the last few years, breaking through into open rank relatively recently. I haven't seen too much of him, but he's kind of showing so far.
Rikuma's quite an exciting new prospect here. He's, as you mentioned, quite not too well in kind of the long run, but recently has started to surface more in higher rank and open rank tournaments. Particularly from what I've seen, his strong skill sets here for GODFIELD Gaming is that DT, and particularly Gimmick, no mod Gimmick specifically, I've seen him play it on. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do and help this team, particularly in the DTs, because I think both these teams have a good clash in that double time mechanics. I think that's going to be an exciting monster that we're going to see. But yeah, let's explain this format, Doomsday, because we've heard a few people a little bit too unsure of how these match formats work. So why don't we just quickly get into that? So these matches here are best of 3 sets, best of 7 maps per set. So the format for the match specifically per set is a little bit different here. Both teams are going to have 1 protect and 1 ban. That is all they have. So there is no secondary ban option here for the sets here. That is all they get. So 1 protect, 1 ban for each team, and then whoever wins that set gets themselves a point and chooses the next pool out of the 3 that we have. So there are 3 map pools here, and a little bit smaller, but these cause the matches generally to be a little bit longer and a little bit more exciting because each team always has a second chance and a full reset for the second pool. But let's go onto our map pools here, Doomsday. So map pool number C has been banned here for Godfield Gaming and for all G8 bros. Pool B has been banned. So pool number A is going to be the first map pool here for the first set between this matchup. And in case you guys are wondering, for the second set, whichever team loses the first set, or the previous set, I guess you could say, picks the next pool. So, for example, let's say Godfield Gaming win pool number A, then it is going to be all G8 bros picking the second one, and then Godfield Gaming picking the final one, which obviously is inevitable because there are only 3. But yeah, that's kind of how it works back and forth. So regardless, both teams always have a chance to come back. And yeah, that's kind of the format for the matches here, Doomsday. I think we've run that down quite simple.
Yeah, summed it up there pretty much. It's a slightly different style. Getting into, I guess, into the pool that's been picked out here, they're starting off with Pool A, which, well, you know, each pool has its own little quirks. This one, in my opinion, after looking through it, one thing I'd point out is it's a bit lacking on the speed side of maps. There isn't really a speedy map in No Mod. There is one very speedy map in the double time pool, the DT2. But I'd say there's not too much speed abuse in this pool in particular. You brought up the speed. I wonder if that one speed map gets taken out, considering some of the scores we've seen in the previous rounds from these two. We'll see if they leave it open, it might be a pretty nasty head-to-head. 285 BPM on that speed pick in this pool.
Yeah, I would say this map has very few styles that are extremely comfortable. You do have the Hard Rock 2 and the DT2, which are more in the comfort side in terms of the aim and the patterns here. But generally, there's lots of patterns, lots of maps here that are quite complex in their control, specifically aim control. There's a big pattern with the Corsace Open 2023 where a lot of the maps in our pools here are very aim control heavy, have a very unique aim style, which players have been forced to adapt to throughout the tournament. So yeah, pool number A is going to be definitely very exciting to see. Looking into our protects here, Godfield Gaming go for the protect on the normal 2, and for all G8 bros, Hidden 2 is going to be their next protect. I'm a little surprised about the Hidden 2 protect here, because Godfield Gaming have some pretty decent potential to perform well, especially considering you've got Outer Lean, Rollpan, Varvalion in there. So I'm a little... no, Varvalion is not strong on Hidden, he's strong on Hard Rock, my bad. Oopsie daisy. I almost got them mixed up. But yeah, I think Godfield Gaming have a decent roster on this Hidden 2, so surprised to see Godfield Gaming, maybe... sorry, not Godfield Gaming, or GA Bros ban the protect the Hidden 2. I would have expected maybe a different map.
Maybe the 4v4. They feel like they're quite confident on it. I mean, you look at Godfield Gaming and straight away, Rollpan just devours low AR Hidden. And this Hidden 2 is super reading heavy. It's a Yoke special, very reading heavy. It's hard enough, I think, for one player to carry it. So it's a brave one to protect. I agree.
Yeah, but we're moving on to our bans here, Doomsday. No Mod 4 for Godfield Gaming and Double Time 2 for all G8 Bros. I think for all G8 Bros, this Double Time 2 ban doesn't surprise me much.
No, it doesn't, but I really wanted to see it. It's the speed map. It's gone. 285 BPM on DT2. That No Mod 4 is a gimmick map been banned from Godfield Gaming. Yaspo gimmick aim control on a very awkward BPM, but they're not going to trust it against this reading team. I guess the Hidden 2 protect kind of telegraphs them wants to get into some of the more gimmicky side of this pool maybe, and there's a lot to work with, as you mentioned, in terms of the control in this pool.
If we were to kind of look at both these teams' respective core strengths, despite them having quite a little bit of a confliction with certain parts, specifically like DT, aim as well, I think one thing that all G8 Bros has leaning going into their entry pick here is not only the tech, but the aim control in general, I think this team has a lot more control players compared to Godfield Gaming. Sure, you do still have some good players here. Of course, you have Volvalion, you also have Pop Art Town, who are two extreme well-rounded players who have proven themselves to do very well on these control-heavy maps, but it's generally, all GA Bros just not only... that was the second skill set I was actually about to mention here. Hard Rock is another one that I was expecting all GA Bros to benefit really well on. But yeah, generally, from what I can see, alt, tech, kind of aim control, heavy stuff for all GA Bros, I'm expecting them to perform quite well on. Hard Rock 2 is going to be their pick, though, Doomsday. Very comfortable precision.
Yeah, we talk about all the weird stuff in this pool, but this might actually be the most standard map in the whole pool. Old school precision aim this. An absolute banger of a song, mind you. Yeah, when I think of Chinese teams, I think of Hard Rock dominance. I'm not surprised at all that they're opening up with a strong trump card here and some Hard Rock aim, comfiness, mechanics, because they've got a 4 that could beat pretty much anyone.
Yeah, the Chinese have always been known for being very formidable on the Hard Rock generally. Having players like Crystal around, especially, probably the biggest Hard Rock star, one of the best Hard Rock players in the world, period. He's definitely going to be one of those star players to look out for in this. But for Godfield Gaming, I'd say they don't have too bad of a roster. This generally being quite comfortable. As long as they can deal with the precision, it's not too bad. I mean, of course, we're probably going to see Pop Art Town and Volvalion play in this, because not only are they both very formidable on Hard Rock, but they're quite flexible. They can probably play this precision despite it not being a core strength of theirs. But having also players like Yama Darkness, also known as A-Blue, very strong aim player generally, and the more comfortable, the more consistent the guy gets. So I'm looking forward to seeing what lineups both these teams are going to pull out here. But we're not going to see A-Blue for Godfield Gaming. Instead, we're going to see Altalina and Rikuima in joining Volvalion and Pop Art Town. And for all G8 Bros, no surprises here. The trio of Lolols plus Crystal are going to be leading here.
It's the squad of all time, Shiba.
Truly. Having Lol 233, Milk Tea, 235 David, and 234 Karimi. No surprises here at all. Going into these early starts here, where we've seen about 3 breaks here, 1 from David and 2 from both Pop Art Town and Rikuima. So combat advantage early on in this intro section is going to go to all G8 Bros, but very early stages into the map, we're probably just getting used to these early game jitters because precision is one of those skill sets that's very hard to adjust to at the start. You kind of have to have your own kind of zone to do well on these precision maps, but you can already see it. Despite it being comfortable, the aim here is no joke. Very, very difficult and very, very spaced, and you can already see it trip up Milk Tea there. Oh, Godfield Gaming, though, looking good. Volvalion's going to drop, but those 3 combos full stop. Despite that, looking quite comfy. But that big stream section has tripped up quite a few players here, Doomsday. All G8 Bros flip their advantage once again.
Yeah, hitting the chorus, the spike in the spacing, catching out a few players. Pretty competitive at the start, but there's plenty in this map to go. And at the moment, it looks like all G8 Bros are in the driving seat, getting into one of the verses again.
Yeah, but whoa, that was a ginormous break. Ginormous break from multiple players here. 2 from all G8 Bros and 3 from Godfield Gaming. The consistency and the general comfort just continues to edge all G8 Bros towards the finish line here. Lol 234 is looking very, very good, and besides we're seeing multiple breaks from Crystal and David, Milk Tea's got a decent recovery of about 300 combo. Godfield Gaming, as you mentioned before, Doomsday, looked pretty competitive at the start. We saw, despite having 2 early breaks, recovery was looking really, really good going into that Ki, but that stream and burst section was tough to hit for all these players. And despite Pop Art Town and Altalina looking good on the recoveries, it is Karumi and Milk Tea to carry all G8 Bros to a 600,000 lead going into this outro.
Nice 800 combo. There's the break, but job's done, really. This pick's done exactly what all G8 Bros would have wanted it to do. And in the end, pretty comfortable. Let's be honest, they were in the driving seat the entire way on this one after the first quarter or so.
Yeah, in all honesty, I could have seen GODFIELD Gaming potentially in a different reality, getting much better team scores overall on this, but I think it's just generally the first match jitters that might have been a bit of a struggle, maybe difficult to adapt, because despite GODFIELD Gaming having more than capable aim players and hard rock players, all GA Bros not only just generally be more formidable, but being a lot more comfortable overall, being able to adjust with not only higher combo, but much higher accuracy as well. And that gave him that first win. I think there was a lot of potential with this hard rock too, but unfortunately, it just wasn't the map for GODFIELD Gaming. And it's their chance now to pick their next map and to try and even out the playing field in this first set.
I mean, at the moment, it's, I guess, as they expected. You know, the picking team winning the first pick, GODFIELD Gaming, could have a chance to do the same. I would have looked at something like DT1 being a really good map for a top, for the 4 of GODFIELD Gaming, but the DT1 in this pool isn't really aimy DT. It's low BPM control streams. There isn't, I guess maybe if you wanted to go for something similar, it might be a no mod 1 angle maybe for GODFIELD Gaming here. Get stuck into that swinging no mod 1 aim map we have in this pool. Might give that a shout.
What's tough about multiple of these maps here is that No Mod 1 is the only semi-comfortable map here. All the other ones are a bit bizarre. You've got Hidden 1 with the high BPM hidden ult, and you've got the Hard Rock 2, which is a custom song, by the way, with lots of mechanics-heavy tech, which is not really what you want when these guys are very good on generic aim. And and on top of that, I mean, Hard Rock 1 still is generally a more comfortable side for all G8 Bros, so even then it might be a bit of a dodgy one to go for.
I don't know about Hard Rock 1, man.
Yeah.
But it could also be the No Mod 2, which I was about to bring up, and that's where they're going. The map they protected, so they're going to play it, I guess, safe.
Yeah, gonna go for the easy one here, the easy choice. Nothing really too complex. They just want to get an instant point on the board, and No Mod 2A is that choice. This is 3 minutes long, 208 BPM, constant short stream consistency. It's not necessarily mega stamina heavy throughout the general map. What makes this stamina heavy is how long it lasts and how constant these streams are. Towards the start, maybe the first half, we're not going to see any major hiccups, but towards the ending is where we could see some big trips and some big combos getting dropped. Quite leaning on the mechanics here. The flow aim is a little unique, but nothing too extreme, nothing too major. It's more the constant barrage of those shorter streams and that slightly strange flow aim, which is gonna maybe trip up some players here. But GODFIELD Gaming have some fantastic players for this. Of course, Varvalian is the first name you think of when you think of No Mod 2 exceptional performances. So I'm not surprised that they're gonna lean into that instant protected pick.
Yeah, I don't think you can go too far wrong with this one. I do think all GA Bros are going to be, they'll be just fine on a map like this. But it's definitely much more in GODFIELD Gaming's wheelhouse. And definitely with the BPM getting up there a little bit. It's 208 BPM, No Mod 2 streamy. Sure, a lot of the streams in this are, shorter bursts. But there are some sections in this that do go into those longer streams, winding streams with some pretty hard aim. Where, especially later on, players that are uncomfortable could definitely find themselves in a world of hurt. Can't see GODFIELD Gaming having that problem, though.
Well, here we go. We're going to be going into this No Mod 2 now. GODFIELD Gaming's opportunity to bounce us back. Though I'd also mention, this is quite a unique song for No Mod 2s. You'd normally expect this to be mostly occupied by metal songs or rock songs. But this is a quite unique one. Generally quite common amongst other rhythm games. But this one is going to be used for the No Mod 2. Pretty unique song, which does lead to a pretty unique map, as you can already see. We don't see much standard flow aim in this. We're seeing mostly just more like a kind of a tech-ish just barrage of constant shorter streams, which can lead to a few slip-ups if you're not really ready for that style. It does trip out Pop-Out Town going into this early stage. Joseph Joestar also slipping up here a little bit. But so far, it's looking so good for both of these teams. All GA Bros is holding on to a very tiny lead, but really nothing much noticeable. Alto Lean is going to be the next to drop, though, for GODFIELD Gaming. Varvalian and Rollpan holding on to their full combos. And we're going into the first key eye here. Lots of bursts, lots of touches here that could get you done. Another big flame stream that's been hit there by everybody. No major breaks so far. The lead still remains in all GA Bros, but Joseph Joestar drops. Mind you, Anzu, Popatan, and Altoline all drop. 2 breaks for both teams here. But that small chambers from Joseph Joestar could give GODFIELD Gaming the advantage they need, but down goes Varvalian. This Ki has tripped up so many players, Doomsday. It's just Rollpan for Godfield Gaming to hold on to the combo, whereas UGA Bros, they've got 2 FCs on the board past this first Ki.
Yeah, it's 2v1 really. The Lolol's holding the fort, getting into the next verse. Rollpan's holding really well with his Zac though. He's looking pretty good, but some of the longer streams coming in later. I think that will benefit Godfield Gaming more if they can recover nicely. And perhaps just hope for a choke on the side of old G8, because it's very much possible later on in this one.
We do see 2 drops here from Maya Joanzo and Joseph Joestar, and it's not been traded by Godfield Gaming, despite Rollpan. Oh, a little bit shoddy there, dropping a little bit of actually going into the stream, going to the next Ki. Lolol233 aka Milk Tea is the guy you really want to look out for here. 99.6 accuracy on the FC, looking fantastic for UGA Bros' odds of securing this victory, because even if we see a break from David, it's looking so dire here, as long as Lolol233 holds. And we're seeing lots of drops. The biggest combo for Godfield Gaming is gone. Same with the Varvaliant. But on the other side of UGA Bros here, so a triple miss from both of these, from all 3 of UGA Bros' players. It's just Milk Tea now holding on to the major combo. And it's Pop-Out Town for Godfield Gaming, who could give this team the advantage they need, but down he goes. We're seeing so many Braves going to this late stage, and it's all Milk Tea holding on to the combo.
What is he doing? 99.4 still, and he's the only one in the lobby with anything really here.
Oh my lord, Doomsday. This is an exceptional performance here. Contrast to all of the other scores. This guy does not stop holding on to his combo. And we're going into the very late stages here. Ending section is safe to say, through Milk Tea's unfathomable performance here, UGA Bros are going to get the break point and get 2-0 lead in a best of 7. Extremely threatening. And Milk Tea secures the FC. What a fantastic score. Absolutely fantastic score.
Ludicrous score, mate. Ludicrous score. What an FC there from Milk Tea. 300k and all that and more on the side of him there. Stolen. Right back here. All G8 Bros. A 2-0 up here. That was huge.
It was looking very competitive, wasn't it, Doomsday? You saw that combo from Rollpan and Pop-Out Town looking like they're about to snag it out of UGA Bros' hands. But towards that ending section, I already mentioned it, man. The ending gets really tough, especially with that stamina. Not only does the flow aim and general aim requirement ramp up, but that stamina hits you more and more. 208 DPM streams for 3 minutes is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. But it is all Milk Tea. The Milk Tea show for this normal 2. Absolutely incredible score. And it looked so competitive. It looked so competitive. But that singular FC just completely overshadows everything that Godfield Gaming are doing here. And yeah, they're 2-0 up in this first set. And it's their pick now, Doomsday. This could be the pick that secures them match point.
Well, they've got all the pool to peruse.
Not set, well, not match point, set point. I need to get used to that.
The first set. It's an unusual format. You know, we're picking it up here. But you know what I mean.
This is the first time, I think, ever that I've been in a tournament that has sets. Aside from, of course, grand finals. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever cast a tournament with sets. So when I see a team being 1 point away from winning something, I always think match point. But no, this is game point, set point. You know, there's still more to go after this round. But I thought I'd also add, Doomsday, I don't think we mentioned this earlier. This entire bracket is single elimination. So every single point matters here, because one singular mistake, one singular choke on a map could spell the end of your run straight up. A lot of pressure are on these teams. And UGA Bros have come out on the sunny side so far with that breakpoint on the normal 2. And Hidden 2 is going to be their next pick.
So going into the low AR reading then, the reading side of this pool. We were talking about how this one was... it was interesting because we knew Godfield Gaming have some absolute beasts on Hidden 2. But they predicted it for a reason. Here it is. All reading all the time. Weird bursts. Techie style on this actually as well. On AR8. The ending has some sections that are really nasty too. It's a map that I can see one person carrying again. And, well, Rollpan did pretty well on that last No Mod 2. He's feeling it today, and this is his map, for sure.
Yeah, this is a custom Hidden 2 mapped by Pip. I believe, inspired a little bit by Yolks Pie. And if you know Yolks Pie, not only is he a fantastic reading player, but a terrifying reading mapper as well. And with our beautiful custom mapper managed to capture a little bit of that essence on this Hidden 2, it is extremely uncomfortable reading. Slightly higher AR than your standard reading pool, AR 8.3, but still the crazy slider density and the really uncomfortable patterns overall is really, really tough. This is a very specialist heavy map, Doomsday.
It is. It is. And I guess we'll see them flex on us now as they set up the players. It's taking a minute to set this up, actually. I wonder if there's a few doubts. A few players being like, hang on. We'll see how it goes when the map starts. Also, as well, before we kick off, I was going to mention this at the start, but it's interesting that, a match that's like, China v Japan is like at this time. I just spotted that in the chat. It's these two teams are late night gamers.
Yeah, you'd expect most Asian-based rosters to be in a much more bizarre time in the UTC, but looks like these guys have organized it to play a lot later. So
it's an NA-friendly Asia match.
Yeah, that might be like EU-friendly as well. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just after people finish work. Not too bad,
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. But we're going into this Hidden 2 now, Doomsday, and we are already seeing a lot of misses here. The only FCs holding on so far are Outerlean and David. The rest of the players in this lobby struggling a lot. We're seeing a Rollpan and Milk Tea recovering decently well, along with Crystal. But that drop from Rollpan is going to reset the combo here. So far in this intro section is looking really, really tough for both of these teams. Only about 10,000 separating them, with RGA Bros taking that small lead.
It's all very scrappy, though. You can see the state of this map. This is a reading map for the reading players and pretty much no one else. But even players like Volpan are really struggling on the act. No one is above 90% here.
It's Outerlean and David, though, who are the two big commons to look out for. They're still holding on to the FCs, despite the rest of their team struggling immensely. But a big burst section there is going to trip out Outerlean, but so does David. Now the big FCs are gone, it's all up to the general team supporting combo. Might Angel Anzu is a big standout here. He still holds on throughout that little bursty section. One of the hardest aim control parts of this map, but there's still an ending section to come through with a really scary stream section. And considering this is late stage in Score V2, this is possible. Actually, no, I take it back. 158,000 is too done. And there's a massive reset going to this ending of the map. There is nothing GODFIELD Gaming can do, despite the valiant effort from Outerlean, and RG8 Bros are at set point.
That just absolutely destroyed everyone, but that combo from Outerlean, you gotta give him props for that forward decay there. It's not going to be enough, though, because LOL235 with the 420k one-upping him there.
This was an absolute cluster, Doomsday. I mean, nobody looked comfortable on this. Like, absolutely nobody. I mean, you've got David and Outerlean doing the best they can. They are the best reading players of their respective teams, but like, wow, that's how you know this map is demon, when your 2-star reading players struggle to get over 400k. It's a tough one for sure, but all G8 Bros just generally just exceeding that general supporting combo. Outerlean, I'd say Outerlean and David kind of clashed it out quite a bit. It was only that ending stage where, Outerlean having broken a little bit earlier, giving David that small lead. But aside from that, it really was just the general team score. My Angel Anzu in particular with that 200 combo towards the ending, helping them extend the lead just a little bit further and taking it down. But No Mod 1 is going to be picked here for GODFIELD Gaming, and I'm not surprised by this pick at all, Doomsday. What do you think?
I'm not surprised either. I think it's a No Mod 1 angle here for the Japanese side, GODFIELD Gaming. Sound the alarm, but this one is not your usual anime farmy jumps. Some good old Bollywood, let's go. Swing jumps here. It's 160 BPM, 1.6, so it's what, 240 BPM, 1.4 in practice. Snow Note inspired old school aim patterns here. If you like symmetry, it's all over this one. Have fun.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe the general patterns of this, it is inspired by Snow Note. Snow Note having a very distinct style of aim being reflected onto this No Mod 1. I think the best way of describing the style is that most of the patterns rotate through the center of the screen. That's kind of like the best way to describe these kind of jumps. They're kind of spinny. If you were a beast at cursor dancing, or you just put a dancer bot on this map, they would be running circles around this map. Unironically, that's not even a troll. However, yeah, as long as you're used to the style, I mean, it's very comfy. I think the only thing that makes this map significantly difficult is its BPM and its difficulty ramp up towards the ending. A BPM shift from 240 to 260 at the end, making this a little bit more stressful towards the late stage. And if that gets close, some chain misses could decide the fate of this first set.
I could as well. I say, if players are getting comfy, losing their concentration, or possibly nerves kicking in, that BPM change can make all the difference.
It really can. And looking at these teams, I mean, signature rosters from both of them here. 3 Lolos and Crystal hopping in for OG Bros. And also to go for gaming in Papa Town, Abe Blue, also known as Yama Darkness, and Autoline. I am not surprised by either of these teams.
No, these teams could have wrote themselves. This is the roster you'd want from these two teams on this. I think we're in for a treat on this one, Shiba.
This is exciting. Yeah, going into this early intro section, an early break from David, but it isn't going to be too detrimental unless we see some 4-ways FCs, but I'm not expecting. This map is pretty difficult despite being relatively comfy. So we're just going to have to wait and see until we see a potential trade here, or maybe an additional combo smacking on all G8 Bros, giving GODFIELD Gaming a further advantage. Only about 20,000 in their favor going into this early stage. And the first break comes through. GODFIELD Gaming are very aware of their advantage right now. So the pressure is on. They've got to hold him just a little bit here. Accuracy as well, looking really even here. You've got Valiant holding onto that SS along with Pop at Town with a brilliant accuracy of 99.2. No SSs for all GA Bros, but still some great accuracy from Crystal and Milk Tea in particular.
And that break from Kurumi, LOL234, these verses are definitely the easier parts. That's an unfortunate break for him right here. Waiting for those Natus to kick back in, which I think happens now.
Where the harder linear section. No trash misses from those linear sections. We're going straight into this Ki, and Valiant drops first for GODFIELD Gaming. Kurumi joins him though, trading that. It is a 3 versus 3 in the major combo, but it is generally just slowly advantage for GODFIELD Gaming. Another drop from Kurumi, not looking good in this Ki section. It's just that early miss from David that distinguishes the combo advantage here for GODFIELD Gaming. While Valiant, despite dropping, does still have some fabulous accuracy. So it's not, despite losing a big combo, it's not too detrimental as long as the combo stays the same difference-wise for both of these teams. But we're going into the final third here, Doomsday.
Yeah, all G8 are reeling them in now. The recovery is doing well. Oh, that break though! 1-2-3-3, that's gonna hurt. GODFIELD Gaming are back in the driving seat again. Just about.
That's a drop from Autoline as well, actually. It's 2 versus 2 now in the major combos. It's looking really, really close, Doomsday. It's just 50,000 score dividing them. And the second half of this map, the ending part is going to be big. A-Blue drops. It's just Pop-Out Town on the FC. 2 FCs to 1 for all GA Bros. It's slowly flipping as long as they hold on just a little bit. All they need is a little bit of time. 15,000, 10,000, 5,000. Now closing in. The lead is in favor of all GA Bros. David and Crystal still looking good on this lead. But here's where the difficulty is going to start to ramp up. Pop-Out Town's gone. That's a huge advantage now for all G8 Bros.
Varv with 600 combo is against 2 1k combos. It is looking grim here for GODFIELD Gaming. It's looking like they're going to have to come back from behind here in this matchup. This set is going to all G8, surely.
David and Crystal are not stopping despite that drop there from David. Crystal still looking great, and the consistency from this team is extremely strong. Crystal may lose the FC, but on the hardest part of the latest stage where the score is at his highest, all G8 Bros take him down and win set number 1.
Crystal does Crystal things, man. 940k, the 1 miss, the ever-present, the captain. He's doing it again.
7 100s, Doomsday. 1 100, 2 misses for Valiant. You can't help but feel bad for the dude. He was clearly extremely comfortable. It's just those unfortunate misses that couldn't get him for Valiant, the Japanese star. Look at this accuracy from the guy, Doomsday. Look how much potential this score could have had.
Yeah, No Mod 1 is an unforgiving mistress. That tends to be how it is. Yeah, poor Varv on that one, but that's the way it goes. I think it was a good pick, though, in this matchup, and it looked really good for them. But it wasn't to be, and we're going to go to set 2 now. In this best of 3 sets. All G8, if they win this next set, they'll be moving on.
Yeah, and that will spell the end of the run here for GODFIELD Gaming. But looking at these maps here, it's safe to say we're going to probably see GODFIELD Gaming go for pool number B, considering OG Bros banned that previously. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. We're gonna have to wait and see. Considering GODFIELD Gaming banned C, that's a bit of a dangerous one. I mean, normally the first set is the most important one because that's the one that clashes the most here. Both these teams already banning one. They're very clear of which map pool they're uncomfortable with. So even if GODFIELD Gaming take the second set here, OG Abras are going to be at a good advantage winning set 1 already. I mean, the most, in theory, the most clashing pool is the most important one, right? I mean, these other two are probably going to be quite biased considering both these teams banned it. But we are going to take a small break for our teams here. Just give them a little bit of a rest up going after the end of this first set. No problem at all. What are your thoughts, Doomsday? What are your thoughts on this pool? Do you think they're gonna stick with the predictable option and go for number B, considering OG Bros banned it, or do you think maybe C could be possible?
I imagine they're going to stick to their guns, right? And they're going to go for the one that their opponents ban. So I'll be very surprised if they pick C. The differences with the pools, there are definitely distinctions because the pools aren't very big. You know, they'll be missing certain skill sets, and there'll be certain skill sets that are slightly more representative. So I think even if it does go to a set 3, it's still going to be relatively competitive. But surely set 2, they'll be going into pool B, which I think my general opinion of pool B in terms of a matchup, looking at how the maps went on it, was there's definitely a lot more mechanics in there. It's a very mechanics heavy pool, at least compared to the last one with lots of control aim. There's a lot more mechanics in pool B, and I think that's where GODFIELD Gaming really thrive with players like A-Blue, players like Teachy, players like Varv. And I think it'd benefit them pretty well, and well, after that 4-0, they need some more comfy maps to try and get that momentum back. I think it's a good shout, I think it'd be a decent one to try and claw something back. Surely they have to go for it.
Yeah, I'm quite in agreement with you here, to be honest, Doomsday. And despite KO1C having some decent maps that could lean into the favor of GODFIELD Gaming, like the Hard Rock 1 being probably the super clutch one, super close one that both these teams could be exceptional on. I think 1B is looking ideal here. More mechanics heavy maps, more super skill set, not skill set, sorry, skill cap heavy. You've got that DT1, which is very mechanics heavy, quite atypical of a standard DT1 here. 272 BPM, AR 10.4. Wouldn't be surprised to see that one being protected or picked for GODFIELD Gaming. You do also have the Usao Hard Rock, which is more techie, but again, one of those maps that is going to be very, how do I say it, very contested amongst both of these teams. Not very tech heavy, it's more aim heavy, but has that sprinkle of tech that I guess some people could make it consider it count as tech, but yeah, most generally, I'm considering GODFIELD Gaming performing particularly well on KO1B.
Yeah.
You've also got maps like the No Mod 4, which is extremely fast, really high BPM aim control. It's quite ridiculous, this No Mod 4 Doomsday. It could be possible. And on top of that, I mean, the No Mod 3, you cannot deny this No Mod 3 being very raw speed mechanics heavy.
Yeah, the No Mod 3 in this pool. Custom song as well, by the way, by CS4W. I mean, who put the tiebreaker, Grand Finals tiebreaker song in No Mod 3? They clearly got the songs mixed up because that song goes so hard, and it's 8 stars because of the speed-heavy nature of it. There's quite a lot more speed in this pool as well. The last one may have not had much. They only had really DT2, which got banned, by the way, by old G8 Bros. they're going to have to contend with more of that here, because that double time 1 and double time 2 is speedy. This No Mod 3 is speedy. They really can't avoid the speed abuse here.
Yeah, and thought I'd just add, ladies and gentlemen, all of these custom songs have been very gracefully funded by the wonderful staff team at Osu, the official Osu staff team, who have been gracious enough to help fund these amazing custom songs, particularly the Tiebreaker. Is going to be probably the most exciting thing. I really want to see this TB played because my goodness, is it spectacular as a song and a map. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the full thing, Doomsday, but my god.
Yeah.
Sad Keyboard Guy in Gardens and Ailey with the vocals completely killed it on this TB.
It's a slapper. I do want to see it so bad. This is one of the matches where
it's possible. Honestly,
you know what? I was gonna like not say it because I don't want to jinx it. But this is definitely one of the closer ones. Although at the start from all G8 says otherwise. There's a long way to go in this matchup. But yeah, I did get a chance to see it. I was lurking the showcase for that as well, and it was just, it's so good. And the storyboard is just amazing. We won't be able to see it on stream, I don't think, but you should download it and grab it because it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's on Spotify. So if you do use Spotify, go grab it, add it to your like songs, add it to your banger playlists. But let's also talk about other custom songs here. A custom song by Miyuki for Hard Rock 1 on Knockout 1A. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that one played. But it's a brilliant song and a really unique Hard Rock 1 custom here by Captain One. So yeah, it's a shame we didn't see that because I think that was probably one of the more excitable ones that could have been played. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. But yeah, many more custom songs I'm sure we're going to see in this tournament later on. So yeah, keep an eye on these matches because we could get some banger maps here, banger songs. Once again, thankfully graciously funded by the wonderful Osu team. Thank you once again for helping us make these songs a reality. And we are going into our match, Doomsday. The break is over. Pool B is what's picked here for Godfield Gaming.
Shock and horror. No one could have seen that one coming. They picked the pool that they didn't ban last time. But I think it's definitely the play. It's got a lot more maps that are going to favor the mechanics side, a lot more speed to really get stuck into. Definitely much more up their alley than the last one. So not too surprised about that one. But the picks and the bans, and of course the protects, will be coming up next for this round. All G8 last time banned the one speed pick in the last one. I wouldn't be surprised if they go that direction here, but which one did they ban? Did they ban that No Mod 3, the No Mod 250 BPM speed pick? Or maybe the ones in DT that got speedy aim and also a speedy stamina Eurobeat pick. I don't know which one they go for out of those. They're going to be chatting away on that one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the protects, could we see a hidden 2 protected here by OGA Bros once again?
Maybe.
Once again, we saw that it was quite contested, but they're going to stick with it. It is going to be hidden 2. That's going to be the next protective for OGA Bros. But for Godfield Gaming, there's more potential with what they could protect here. They protected No Mod 2 last time, but this No Mod 2 is a little easier and more control heavy than last time. I would say OGA Bros have a much better chance of getting a breakpoint off of this No Mod 2 than last week's. Last round, sorry, not last week's. Last round's No Mod 2. And it is going to be the No Mod 3 instead. We talked about this Doomsday. This was probably one of their best potential maps. Extreme raw mechanics with some ridiculous levels of high BPM bursts and streams and just general fast-paced mayhem. And yeah, no surprises here. What do you think are going to be the bans here for OGA Bros?
Well, they can't ban No Mod 3 now. And I think if I was going to pick any of those speed maps to ban, it would have been No Mod 3. It's the hardest of the lot, and it's probably one of the hardest maps out of all 3 pools. Arguably the hardest. Yeah, it is going to be more speed they ban. DT1, which is the aim-heavy high AR double-time pick. Aim-heavy pick. I guess that's a pretty good ban against this aim roster on Godfield.
Yeah, this DT1 doesn't surprise me too much. There was potential to maybe ban the double time too, but considering this is more lower BPM, it's still quite high. I mean, 228 BPM stamina heavy is not a joke nothing to reckon with. But
No.
I think the DT1 is definitely a better choice here. This being a lot more aim heavy, much more of an atypical DT2 compared to the other DT1, sorry, that we've had compared to the other DT1s we've seen in previous map hauls. Very, very standard, contrary to the other fantastic custom maps that we've gotten. Very unique style of pause we've had in this tournament, but this one, very, very standard. But Hard Rock 2 is going to be the ban for GODFIELD Gaming. And again, this one, this doesn't surprise me at all. This is a very stop-and-go ulti levels of Hard Rock 2 precision. CS 6.1, so lower CS, but still ridiculous levels of aim control ult here needed. And considering OGA Bros have a fantastic control roster and a Hard Rock roster, to say the least, yeah, safe bans here overall for both teams.
Yeah, it seems like GODFIELD Gaming have come to the senses and realized, yeah, you want to ban Hard Rock against a Chinese team. Just get that out of here, man. And that Hard Rock 2 is no joke. It's hard control, very small. It's like very small circle size, much smaller than usual. Extreme precision on hard patterning. Again, one of the harder maps overall. And yeah, I wouldn't give all G8 that map either.
Well, it's GODFIELD Gaming's chance to pick now, and they're going to instantly go for that protected pick. They want to immediately get themselves a point on the board. And it doesn't surprise me, Doomsday, considering they lost a previous set full to nothing. I think they want to get some sort of momentum going. And there's number 3, one of their best shots for sure. I do see a reality where all GA Bros could fight and maybe take it, but GODFIELD Gaming just overall have a much better roster for this. I mean, you do still have that looming threat of Joseph Joestar for all GA Bros, which I think is going to be the most notable player for this team to perform well on this. But for GODFIELD Gaming, you've got just a wide array of fantastic players here. Varvalian, Pop Art Town, A Blue. You could see a lot of players here for this team.
Yeah, it's the 4v4 that I think is going to be the issue here for all G8. This map's hard enough that really one person could run away with it if they really pop off. But I do feel like there's an element of players having to fill on raw speed maps here for all G8, looking at how the qualifiers went. Whereas I don't think GODFIELD Gaming are going to have as much of a problem finding a 4. But with this just being as hard as it is, 250 BPM, speed, mild tech styling, plenty of aim mechanics here as well. It could take just one player to just go complete Buddha mode on this and carry it.
Thought I'd also add that, well, you mentioned it earlier, but this is a custom song. So this is the first custom song I believe that we're going to see here in this match. Custom song by Seesaw. Once again, thank you, Seesaw, for making this amazing song, and thank you to Osu, the Osu team, for helping fund the custom songs in this tournament. And I'm super excited for this. I mean, Seesaw killed it with this song. Super, super fun and super difficult map. We've already talked about it, man. We just want to get into it. We just want to see the damn plays here. Maps by Elshire, super, super mechanics heavy, and one of the best potential picks for GODFIELD Gaming to finally get themselves a point on the board. Here we go for GODFIELD Gaming into this next set. Varvalian, Altaline, A Blue, and Pop Art Town. And for OG8 Bros, the Lolo Trio and Joseph Joestar.
I can't believe we've already made it to the tiebreaker. I mean, this sounds like a tiebreaker to me, man. It's so ominous.
Just a short drain, low drain time TV for real.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go.
For busy people.
This is it. Big ramp up section gives you a good taste of what this map has to offer. We're already seeing multiple breaks here. A break from Varvalian on the side of GODFIELD Gaming. Not going to trip me up too much. Good recovery. But Lolo 2, 3, 4 and Joseph Joestar are going to be the first to break for OG8 Bros. As long as a break from David. Going to give them an early combo disadvantage. And GODFIELD Gaming going to take the lead so far. Varvalian drops once again, and so does Altaline. That's a second major combo gone for GODFIELD Gaming. Yama Darkness and Pop Art Town do still have the combo big enough to do it, but no! That's another drop from Yama Darkness. And now the lead massively is going to start swinging here for OGA Bros as long as Milk Tea and David can hold on to their combos. Unfortunately, it's all up to Pop Art Town for GODFIELD Gaming to maintain this advantage. But David does drop. It's back to even grounds now. No time for them to flip. And with that break from Milk Tea, the advantage onto this break is massively solidified. You already saw that huge burst of score, Doomsday. 107,000. It was literally 10,000 like 5 seconds ago. But that's hugely bursted now that that major combo from Milk Tea is gone.
It's Teachy, Pop Art Town. When it comes to this high-end mechanics, he's the trump card. He does get the miss, though. It's still with GODFIELD Gaming, but not nearly as much now.
This isn't as threatening anymore. We're going into the final quarter here. And despite that break from Pop Art Town, though, the support here from GODFIELD Gaming by Valen and Eblue looking good to keep this going. You see a competent recovery here from Milk Tea, but the combos on RGA Bros just cannot get on the ground. There's no major combo that can solidify themselves to potentially flip this back. And despite the double miss, that full reset from GODFIELD Gaming, going to this ending section, the score is decreasing quite a bit, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Joseph Joestar drops, and GODFIELD Gaming finally get themselves a point that they've desperately needed on the board into the second set.
Go straight into their strong picks, working out well, and they've finally stopped the momentum a little bit here from all G8. Great picking here. I'd say there wasn't too much in it, though, but definitely the edge was always here with the Japanese side. GODFIELD Gaming. Nice 97% there from Varv. That 2 miss, though.
Yeah, Varvalian, he's just an all-star player, so well-rounded and so consistent. It's very, very rare you see this guy underperform. The dude is just a maniac and so disciplined and so well played, so well done. And that's why he's the big star. That's why he's Japan's golden boy. And him and Pop Out Town looking fantastic in that No Mod 3. It looked a little bit dangerous to the combo department, but I think it was just too little too late. And on top of that, just the triple miss for RG8 Bros in that final section just wasn't enough. There was a chance, though. There was a chance in that halfway point. You saw that those 2 big combos from David and Milk Tea could have been something. But thankfully for GODFIELD Gaming, it wasn't. And now they've got a point on the board. It's up to RG8 Bros to even it out now with their next pick.
They could go in the same option, go straight into some hidden 2, which they protected if they want. This hidden 2, very different to the last one. It's more about the aim in the streams, not about the just complete 200 IQ reading that we saw in the previous one. So it's a different kettle of fish, but they're not going to go into it straight away. No Mod 4 will be the first pick here from all G8. And this one is kind of ulty. It's an ult-style pick of sorts. Kind of a fast one. It's like if you take a normal ult map that you find in No Mod 3 and then speed it up by, times 1.2 or something.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
Imagine like a spacey ult map, but like a little bit of double time.
Yeah.
It's basically that. Super fast, super high BPM ult with some insane aim control requirements. I mean, when you think control, you think of China, you think of the Chinese players, you think of how well disciplined this team is and how good they are at general control. The only other nation really able to fight back against them are teams like South Korea. The only other nation that can really rival this team in terms of control and just general ult and tech play. And this No Mod 4 is something, really is something extremely difficult. And though I'd also mention, this is a very unique song for map pools. This is the first time I think ever I've seen a map pool with hyperpop as one of the maps, as one of the songs here.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit surprised that there isn't more hyperpop in Osu. I think it's starting to like somewhat become more prevalent in mapping. But yeah, it's definitely uncommon. I think it's suited pretty well for mapping though, particularly this one, as you'll hear in a moment. I'm a little bit surprised though, but it is starting to make a bit of a rise in mappers.
Yeah, hopefully, there's no harm in having more diverse music tastes in Osu here. And as Hyperpop makes a bigger appearance, more mappers are going to choose to lean into it. I mean, Hyperpop is definitely one of those song styles that one of those genres, that you could consider being very, very techy. I already have some songs in the top of my head that I could see being an absolute slider demon map that could be done here. But we're finally going into our map here, ladies and gentlemen. This is RG Bros pick, a chance to even out the scoreline 1-1. And you can already see the insane levels of aim control on this. It's quite fast, quite high BPM, but yeah, very controlling. And you can already see a few early misses here from Rikuima on the side of GODFIELD Gaming. On top of that, we've seen a few early breaks here, but from decent recoveries past this intro from multiple players. I mean, the two of the Lolos and Crystal with a super early drop, but nothing really major here.
No.
But aside from that drop from Rikuima, we're not seeing any drops going to this first Ki. Well, there it is. There's the first drop. Kurumi goes down. Rikuima joins him. Barbalian also drops here. Pop-Out Town as well. The entirety of GODFIELD Gaming, except for Altoline, is looking frightened here, but there's the final combo. It's all up to Milk Tea. Can he hold on to this big Ki? Because if he does, this is a massive opportunity for OG Bros to secure that lead. And yes, he does. Fantastic aim control.
And his reward is another verse section where it gets a little bit easier, although relatively it's still tricky. It's a chance for him to try and make this advantage count, though.
You see a few of these really dodgy patterns throughout this part. You know, generally overall it's pretty tame compared to the Ki. But oh my god, that's a dramatic drop. That is a dramatic drop there from Milk Tea. That is a tough one. Thankfully for him, though, he does have the recoveries here from both Crystal and David. But on the side of GODFIELD Gaming, you still have kind of a trifecta of decent combos here. Rikuima does drop, and unfortunately, Pop-Out Town does join him. But Crystal and David is dropping that, having big enough combo to keep GODFIELD Gaming Valvalian out bay. Altoline's going to drop as well. Just general consistent combo differences here. That's going to keep OG Bros in the lead by about 150,000. Valiant efforts here from Valvalian into this final quarter. But despite that drop from Milk Tea, the big combo for this team, Crystal has got back with that 600 combo leading the lobby. Oh, yeah. Oh, and as I say that, down he goes.
Oh my god, you just completely destroyed him, Fever. Valve will like that one, though. Never mind. Oh my god.
I do say you just cast him.
It is a dark day for us casters here.
We're going into the final Ki here, final big ramp-up section. It's safe to say OG Bros have an advantage that's too steep for GODFIELD Gaming to climb up from 280, approaching 300,000. The general consistency and the overall combo differences here is going to give OG Bros that even point on the board.
The solid four, the classic four, getting the job done here. Some nice individual performances, though, especially on the side of GODFIELD Gaming with Varvali in the 5 miss, nearly 98%. His accuracy has been really good this match so far. It's been pretty valuable. But all J8 Bros taking their first pick here, getting the momentum back a little bit.
Yeah, a very valiant effort here from Varvalian. Evening out the valiant score there, the brilliant score from Kurumi. Just making it close, but unfortunately not enough, especially towards the late game where too many players from GODFIELD Gaming were just breaking. There are so many moments, Doomsday, where we saw the big combos and we thought, wow, that's a good combo, and then they're gone. We didn't even say anything, we just see it and it's done. That's how unforgiving this map is.
Yeah, even in the verses. I mean, the choruses are definitely the hardest parts in that, but those verses with claiming combos, they feel easier. So when you break on them, it's just, you can see the frustration in some of the players' curses when they broke there. But that map is no joke, even on the verses where it seemingly calms down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even then, right? Like, there were generally, despite the Ki's being clearly the big difficult part that you have to focus on, the verses weren't forgiving. I mean, generally quite comfy, but there were some parts, like specific minor patterns that just kind of jump scare you and make you, you know, a little bit nervous of missing because it suddenly just pops up out of nowhere. And unfortunately for GODFIELD Gaming, that just gave OG Bros just a general comfort to give themselves that even point here, equalizing it. But for GODFIELD Gaming, DT2 is their next pick, and I'm not surprised at all. This is very, very stamina intensive.
Yeah, more speed abuse. It was the play. All G8 don't want to play speed, and they're going straight into that speed. With the matches, you know, with the set being so short, you just got to do it. This one is going to be much more even, though, I think. You mentioned it at the start. This one isn't too out there. It's 228 BPM stamina Toho Eurobeat. You can't go wrong with a bit of Eurobeat. Old school mapping. It's mapped by, I believe, Trust, who's a mapper who's been around for a very long time. They've brought him out of retirement for this one. You'd love to see it. And it's a style that a lot of players should be pretty familiar with.
Yeah, Trust killed with this one. Quite old style. Alice's Emotion, a classic Toho artist who's absolutely made waves throughout their era, just doing so good and remixing these fantastic, iconic Toho songs. And this being older style, 228 BPM speed, stamina, it's safe to say this isn't as raw mechanics heavy. I mean, the big factor here is purely that stamina, and all GA bros are capable of doing that. This isn't as this isn't super mechanics heavy. Despite it still being mechanics heavy, the stamina really is all that there is. There is some like standard DT aim requirement, but really nothing too big. Not as reminiscent as a standard double time one in this stage.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of aim requirement, but nothing major. I think most of these players can do fine on them.
Yeah, not too much aim, but plenty for your tapping hand to do. There are a couple like little cut streamy parts as well, but it's nothing too wacky. Joestar and My Angel Anzu back in for this one. My Angel Anzu hasn't played too many maps in this match so far, so
yeah, I believe we've only seen them play 2 maps in this entire match so far, between both the sets. So good to see them around, being one of the resident DT players for this team, backing up Joseph Joestar with that super strong speed duo. Unfortunately for Milk Tea, not looking good in this early section here, despite that break from A-Blue at the start, recovering brilliantly there. But mind you, Lanzu does drop. Popatown does trade it. But advantage remains here in favor of Godfield Gaming onto this Ki. Alceline does drop though, that's a big miss there. And the score slowly going to lean out in favor of LGA Bros while Valiant's gone as well. These streams are punishing them massively here, Doomsday. These Ki's are really unforgiving, and the break as well. God, that's a hard thing to see on the mental. LGA Bros see that chance to come back now. Joseph Joestar and David looking brilliant past his first Ki. David does drop though, so that's a chance there for maybe a comeback. Another break from Joseph Joestar. It's all Milk Tea now with the combo, and Godfield Gaming have a decent recovery here, Doomsday. And
Ablue lost his on that stream, but it's still really with LGA. I mean, Milk Tea's on the one with the combo, the way he's been playing. He's the one you'll want with a combo. Up against Varv, who as well has had a good game so far. But it is all on the back of those 2 big combos now as you get past halfway. It is critical Varv holds here for Godfield Gaming.
This is the lifeline, right? They've got to hold on to this final quarter. But these Ki's have been punishing Godfield Gaming so hard. They seem to always gather a big combo first these verses. But it's the Ki's that just completely let them fall apart. That break comes through. Final Ki now, and a final opportunity for Godfield Gaming to potentially come back. 140,000 score between them. But we've seen multiple breaks here. Alceline's going to drop. My Angel and Joseph Joestar both drop. It's all up to Milk Tea now to keep this lead in their favor. But there's no other supporting combos. In this Ki, you can see the nerves here a little bit from Milk Tea, but Bob is gone. The lifeline for Godfield Gaming is done, and Pop-Out Town joins him. I think that's it, Doomsday, for this map. Brilliant performance once again from Milk Tea on these tapping-heavy stamina maps. We saw it on No Mod 2, and we're seeing it on the DT2. A single-handedly fantastic carry from Milk Tea to give all G8 Bros that big lead.
It's been so important this match, Milk Tea. Another huge solo performance, and that one I think was even more critical. On a pick that I think maybe was even stronger than No Mod 2 previously. This is a huge steal now. And with G8 having that next pick, they're holding all the aces here, Shiba. They're in an amazing spot now.
Yeah, and what makes that score even more valuable is that not only is this one more stamina heavy and just generally more difficult, but you had that pressure from Varv trailing him. The nerves are a big factor here because you saw multiple breaks as well and multiple chances to see each other's scores. And I'm sure Milk Tea noticed that looming threat from Varv, staring him in the eyes, being like, go on, break, come on, miss it. But no, it didn't happen. Milk Tea held on and looked fantastic doing so. And that's given all G8 Bros a huge breakpoint to potentially secure themselves that guaranteed set with their next pick.
Did they still have Hidden 2, which they've protected as well? I mean, they could go into it now just to guarantee that match point and put Godfield Gaming under all the pressure in the world. Will they go there, though? Will they save that? Because they could potentially still have one more pick if Godfield Gaming pull things back. Oh, they are going to hold on to that hidden 2. Ooh, hot up
this
one.
This is a shoddy one, Doomsday. This is a shoddy one. Yes, we've seen this team perform well on Hard Rock Precision previously, but Hard Rock 1 can be a different beast. And Godfield Gaming have fantastic game mechanics players. This is a dangerous one, I think. I mean, you had that hidden 2 protected, but you're choosing to save it. You're still choosing to save it. And this Hard Rock 1, despite being, of course, more lean towards OG8 Bros, they're a Chinese team. They're brilliant on Hard Rock. This Hard Rock game mechanics is going to be, in my eyes, potentially dangerous, because Godfield Gaming have some great members on there.
Yes, it's techie aim, right? It's a techie aim Hard Rock pick, and Godfield Gaming are going to be perfectly fine if you're going to be picking into some aim. But with it being Hard Rock, I'd still give the edge over to old G8 because their Hard Rock roster is so hard to beat. But it is a bit more competitive than, I don't know, maybe that Hard Rock 2 would have been, but the ban does telegraph that. I think all in all, it's a good pick. It's just, Godfield Gaming have the chance to steal on this one, definitely. And it's quite short too. It's not a very long map. Quite volatile if you have, you know, an unfortunate slip just a couple times. It can completely neuter your score. So when all chips on the table, I guess we'll see which way it goes. I do think it's a good pick on the whole, though, for G8.
I mean, yeah, it's not a bad pick, but I personally find this a little bit risky, considering that you have that protected map still open that can guarantee you the match point, right? I mean, if I was this team, I would 100% go for that hidden 2, just to make sure you have that tiebreaker as a last chance, because this TB is definitely leaning towards OG8 Bros. I have to just say that, being very tech control heavy, extreme mech tech. I mean, OG8 Bros just walk over that. This is why we haven't seen Godfield Gaming lean into that tech massively. And despite this map kind of having a tech as part of the category, I think the aim requirement definitely overshadows the tech aspects of this. Yes, it has a sprinkle of tech that you will see, but it really is the jumps and the major aim requirement, which is going to be the most important here. You can already see those big style jumps tripping up a few players here. Crystal and David in particular. Looking good for Godfield Gaming so far in this intro section.
It's early days. Yeah, I totally agree. This is an aim map through and through with techie elements. It's aim, that's what it is. Old school tech is what I'd say, because a few years ago, all my mod tools are basically this, but an early miss from outer lean. That's a lot of combos dropped there now. That does put old G8 back in a good spot.
Oh, there's a drop from A-Blue and outer lean once again. Crystal does trade it though, but the advantage leans in favor of OG8 Bros. Milk Tea does drop though, but unfortunately for Godfield Gaming, as soon as one from OG8 Bros goes, 3 from Godfield go as well. It's all up to Bar Valley now to hold the fort for this team, and there's the break, the information revealed, and the opportunity opened, the window seen for OG8 Bros to secure themselves match point on this. A drop from LOL234 is going to give that a little bit of advantage here now for Godfield Gaming. Valvaliant is the last man standing for this Godfield Gaming team. It's all up to him in this final half to potentially flip the score back in their favor, but he has got a steep hill to climb and a very tough Ki to come through next. Here we go.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard time for Varv. He has the chance, though. I don't want to say it, but he has had issues with nerves in the past. Can he hold his nerve here?
Bit of a finger control section there, and the curries are starting to build up now for both of these teams. Pop-Up Town, Yama Darkness, Outer Lean, all building up to a 300 combo. He does drape, though, Yama Darkness, but it is traded by David. Valiant still holding on strong. The advantage now flipped in favor of Godfield Gaming, but the combos from OG8 Bros are threatening. Crystal and Milk Tea looking good, but a double miss with the big combos. Valiant trades it, though. I think the advantage is all up to Teachy now. But the general support, that massive triple break there from Godfield Gaming, I mean, it's still difficult for Pop-Out Town to maybe pop up from. There's still a third of the map left here. But TG drops. There's no big combos for either team now. And it's the comfort and the general accuracy, Doomsday, which is giving OG8 Bros that lead. You see it from Outer Lean, 93 and 91 from A-Blue. compared to the solid 97 sweep, all clear colors for G8 Bros here. And this ending section is just going to secure it. The supporting combos, the pressure has gotten to the Japanese squad, and it's not going to be enough from Valiant to push through. All G8 Bros are one map away from securing themselves the victory and advancing into the next weekend.
That was super close. Competitive on the Hard Rock pick. You called it. It was so close. Just a little bit at the end. And once again, Milk Tea with the important contribution right at the end there. When he really needed it. A little bit of combo he had. Just about saving it. And the overall accuracy, of course.
That score from Vav. Man, top scoring the entire lobby. Along with Teachy as well. Outshining Milk Tea. I hate to be that guy, Doomsday, but unfortunately it was Abel and Altaline struggling so heavily, which completely kind of limited the potential that Valiant and Teachy had, being the top 2 scores for their team. You hate to see it. Such an opportunity taken away now. And OGA Bros still have that hidden 2. So even if Godfield Gaming win with their next pick, they've got another really hard map to excel from. I don't know if Godfield Gaming can do it. It's a tough prospect now, Doomsday. It's really, really tough. They've still got a pick on the board, a chance to get another pick down, maybe reset some mental, maybe rejuvenate a little bit of that energy for them. But it's a tough spot. It's a really tough spot.
I wouldn't count out Godfield Gaming on Hidden 2 entirely. I mean, if you have Roll Pan, you have a chance on low AR Hidden. But it's definitely it's the spot that all G8 want. They are nice and comfy right now. They've got a lot of leeway. But Godfield Gaming still have a pick. When you have a pick, you still have a chance. They have to make it work, though. And where do they go? I mean, let's have a quick look here. Where could they go? There's no more speed. All the speed's been used up now. Nomad 3, DT2 are gone. DT1's banned. So they got to go somewhere different. They got to take a detour.
I honestly think all you can do here is maybe roll the Nomad 1 or Nomad 2. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to go for the Nomad 1 here. This is very pattern aim focused, with a few difficult build-ups and key eyes, having particularly difficult patterns. But yeah, pretty pattern aim focused. I think that's the simplest way of describing this.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that sums it up. Some good old Nomad 1 with awkward aim. It is another Nomad 1 angle, and Godfield Gaming could break out their mechanics players for one last push here, possibly. It's always a good pick, really, when you got this sort of lineup to go into these mechanics picks that maybe other teams may not like. You know, these Nomad ones, particularly the more standard ones, but this one really isn't. But these sorts of maps, not a lot of teams like to go into, but this team certainly does. I don't think it's a bad pick for sure. But it is going to be another one very competitive. And with these sorts of picks being heavily, in my opinion at least, heavily reliant on your mindset, how comfortable you are, how confident you are. All G8 have all the confidence right now, don't they?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this Nomad 1 pick is in no guarantee, purely based off the momentum and mental that this team has got to deal with. I mean, I have seen this team. I have seen Godfield Gaming before. They do have a pretty formidable mental. These guys are pretty strong-willed. The Japanese have always been known to be very strong-willed and ready to take it on, even if they're at disadvantage. But it's a tough spot right now. All G8 Bros taking down a potential map victory, and as well as that, taking the breakpoint of Double Time 2. Arguably, Godfield Gaming's second strongest map, second to the Nomad 3. It's scary. It's tough, but Nomad 1 has a lot of potential. You know what this team are capable of. Godfield Gaming has some fantastic aim players. But this being Nomad 1, with this pressure, it's scary, because Nomad 1 has always been known to be a bit of a, not a coin flip map, but a map that has a lot of pressure, where breaks can happen absolutely anywhere. Like, really, absolutely anywhere. And that's why Nomad 1's always considered to be really frightening and coin flippy and nerve-wracking and exciting for viewers. Because there's always the potential for a really dramatic choke. But here we go. Without a Tome's Trauma Recorder, map to fight, Alden. We're going into it now, Doomsday.
This one is slightly awkward aim pattern straight away. No comfortable mechanics aim here, or at least not as much as you'd expect. Bit more awkward.
Yeah, that's what the pattern aim can really take into effect here. You can kind of see some of it already with the awkwardness and kind of the weird overlapping patterns here that could trip you up. And going into this first KI, we're seeing multiple breaks here. Karumi and Altoline are the first to drop for both of their teams here. But with that previous break from Karumi earlier, the advantage is going to slowly potentially lean into GODFIELD Gaming, but the score is looking dead even so far. But there's the big drop that GODFIELD Gaming are looking for. There goes David, especially just after the KI. So now there's a lot of time here for GODFIELD Gaming to build this advantage. There's still a little bit of time left for that next KI, so as long as these patterns don't freak anyone out, it's not going to be too big a deal. Altoline does drop, but that's not the combo that you want to lose here for GODFIELD Gaming.
Yeah, Altoline holding on a little bit, but his teammates doing the job so far. That double reset, though. Oh, GODFIELD Gaming just took a massive hit there. It's just Varvalion. 2 FCs to 1.
That burst section is devastating. And you saw it. It quite literally jump scared the two guys. I mean, Ablue and Popotan were just not ready for it, and it tripped them massively. We're going to KI here now. 2 breaks here from RO16 Bros, but only 1 major combo that's important here. Recoveries are leaning in favor of GODFIELD Gaming, but that combo there from the Milk Tea is important, and Varvalion drops. The last FC for the Japanese roster is down. And it's all up to the recoveries, but no, the double miss from Popotan and Ablue again. That's the second double miss from this team, Doomsday. And Milk Tea, once again, is absolutely tearing this map apart. He may finally drop during that major diff spike section. Might have been my bad juju, but still, he's done so much damage to this score from GODFIELD Gaming. And the recoveries and the general comfort here from RO16 Bros is going to push this lead more and more. There's no big combo for GODFIELD Gaming to bounce from.
It's going to take a disaster here for RO16 to lose this. There's 2 resets on GODFIELD Gaming. That's surely got to be it, right? We're getting it in the outro now. And 200k, that's going to be too much for them to bring back here. Milk Tea. Milk Tea today has been on another level.
This dude, 3 maps now, has absolutely carried his team. Phenomenal scores through and through. And he has been one of the big destructors of the Japanese hopes here. And with this map ending now, RO16 Bros shred GODFIELD Gaming on so many of their dominant strengths. And just their overall consistency and dominance, they will take them down in the second set 2-0, 4-1 in this set. And that is it. Unfortunately for GODFIELD Gaming, despite the efforts, we've saw so many close maps, but that is going to be the end of their run. RO16 Bros will be advancing through into the next stage.
In the heavyweight showdown, you know, China OWC pretty much against Japan OWC pretty much. 2 strong teams, but today it's going to be RO16 Bros. The Chinese heavy team will be taking the W today in impressive fashion. There was a few close maps there, but you gotta be honest, they looked really strong, and there were quite a few maps when they just looked like they were completely in control. Just 1 map dropped against GODFIELD Gaming is no joke, and you have to wonder how far this team could go. They're in the quarterfinals now. Big teams await them. This team have so much synergy and such strong particular mods that they're good on. They could be a challenge against any of those big teams that they may be facing next round.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this team, they're basically trying to OWC, and China have always been a massive threat. They've always been a nation known to be extremely hungry and really motivated to just try and push through. They had a gutting, unfortunate miss run in OWC 2022. So 2023 is going to be one of those years where they just want to try and push to the absolute limits. And with this incredible core of the Lolos, Crystal, Joseph Joestar, and the new addition as well of Maya Anzu, they've pulled through, and they've really shredded on this map against GODFIELD Gaming. And you can't help but give LOL233, aka Milk Tea, the MVP for this. Top scoring so many maps. So many maps.
Yeah, really put in a shift. Like I said, a lot of these, any of those LOLs can have their day and carry. Today, though, it is going to be Milk Tea. It's Milk Tea's day. What a performance from him. What a performance from this team. Commiserations, though, to Godfield Gaming, who go out in this stage. There is no losers bracket here. Single elimination. They are out. But what a run they had. They absolutely dominated in the round robin. They dropped one map in their round robin stage. So it's been a solid run in Corsace Open for this Japanese heavy side. I'm sure we'll see him back.
Truly one of the best of the underdogs here in this tournament. And some huge potential players that could have really popped off here. I think Pop-Up Town in particular has been one of those superstar players for this team. And I'm really excited to see how he's going to do in the future next year, because this guy completely killed it for this team. And unfortunately, despite the loss against RO16 Bros, Godfield Gaming have made a small name for themselves, reminiscing off of last year. Despite not making it through this year, they've put up a good fight. But RO16 Bros will be the team that stands in their way and takes away their run. That is going to be it for us, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great match, Doomsday. Unfortunately, not as close as I was sure some of us hoped, but still a good match nonetheless. I've been Sad Shiva, and I've been joined once again by the wonderful Doomsday. And that'll be it for us from now. Our next match will be between Road to Shore and Starbound in about 40 minutes' time. If you want to see that match, I'm sure I do, because there's definitely another exciting matchup. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you in about 40 minutes. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Take care.